Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Monday morning. The Masters is in the books. We'll talk with Bob Casper coming up at 7:50, and Bob's going to strut his stuff because he wins. He took Scotty Scheffler with the first pick in the first round before PK and I could get him, and sure enough, it's like picking, Tim Duncan or some Magic Johnson or something. It's a guaranteed winner. Sure enough, Scotty Scheffler got it done. The cliche is that the Masters doesn't start until the bag night on Sunday. That's the cliche. The fact is, this tournament ended between the 9th and 12th holes. Those 4 holes, it went from a 3-way tie to Scotty Scheffler had a 2, 3, or 4-shot lead over everybody. From there, he just pulled away. I mean, he wins by 4 shots, but there was only one golfer within 7 shots of him. I mean, it was just, he lapped the field. So Scotty Scheffler wins. He wins his second Masters. He wins for the 3rd time in his last 4 starts. 8 of his 9 starts this year, he's been in the top 10. It just seems like when someone wins like that, they're going to win forever. And you know that's not going to happen. And then in the interviews afterwards, he was talking about how his wife is pregnant and he's about to be a parent, and I think knowing heads are like, well, that'll change everything, won't it? That will. And he said that. He said everyone who talks to him says being a parent changes everything. The first kid is a complete game changer. So we'll see where it goes for Scotty Scheffler, but we know where it went at the Masters. He was dominant, and he gets the win. Also this weekend, another reminder that in very few sports do young people really dominate. Both the Utah Royals and Real Salt Lake are attacking with a lot of young players. Chicho Arango and Matt Crooks are not young, but there are a lot of young players. And young players struggle at times. So the Royals and RSL both get shut out. Now RSL splits the points. A scoreless game with Columbus's JV, their B team, second choice. They're playing for the 5th time in 15 days, so they had to rotate through guys, and they got to be ecstatic to get out of Utah with 1 point. Here's Justen Glad, center back for RSL, after they get the shutout, get the clean sheet. Here's Justen.
It's going well for you guys tonight.
Yeah, I thought the effort and the commitment was there. I thought we did a really good job first half, limiting their shots. Second half, the game opened up a little bit, and they had a little more opportunities. But as a whole, the whole team was putting everything on the line, so that was a positive.
And then how tough is it to just see so many chances go without getting one in the back of the net?
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough, but that's how it goes sometimes. Our whole thing, Pablo probably said it 2 minutes ago, but it's just to get one game better. So hopefully next game those fall for us.
It has been a minute since this team has collected a clean sheet at home. Was that obviously a focus was to go out there and just make sure you guys were tight defensively and kind of didn't allow any gaps against a team that normally likes, I know they had a couple starters and whatnot, but normally likes to press and kind of find those spaces?
I don't think it was particularly on the front of our minds. It was just to win the game, and obviously going into every game our goal is a clean sheet. So I don't think it was any more so tonight. We just happened to limit their chances, and yeah, it feels good to get one at home though.
Justen, tonight you passed club legend Javier Morales in minutes played for RSL. I don't know if you knew that was the thing or not, but congrats. How does it feel having spent so long at this club that you came up through the academy, spent years and years establishing yourself here?
Yeah, it's a huge honor. Even being in the same sense as someone like Javi Morales is incredible. And yeah, hoping to pass some more players soon.
There's RSL center back, Justen Glad. Now, here's the head coach, Pablo Mastroeni. This game, 6 yellow cards for RSL, 3 for Columbus, and it did look in one moment like Columbus, a guy on a yellow card, he committed another foul. It should have been a second yellow. He should have been sent off. He wasn't. It would have been big. There were still 20, 25 minutes left in the game at that point. It could have been big. Who knows how it would have played out. But it could have been very big, and it didn't happen. Pablo talking about the refereeing and the inability to score. Here's Pablo after the game.
Obviously, a 0-0 draw is never fun, but it really did seem like you guys were the dominant side for a lot of that match, especially on the offensive side of the ball. What are some takeaways for you guys from this match despite not getting the exact result?
Again, I think results is the one thing you can't affect. And then the next most difficult thing to do is put the ball in the back of the net. I think as far as executing the game plan, first half, there were some moments defensively where I thought we were a bit loose, but I think in the second half, again, we got good pressure on the ball against a team that likes to dominate the game with the ball and have a lot of possession in the final third, and I thought the guys did a great job. I think the biggest takeaway for me, the chance that Andres has in the first half in front of goal, obviously Crooksy hitting the post, and there's a couple others, but I think on the whole, I think we just need to make better decisions in that final third, and at times have more patience, because a big part of what we do is want to set up a good rest defense, and so if we have to rotate the ball to get a better option looking forward, but again, I think that's getting into the weeds and very detail. I think we did enough to get 3 tonight, but again, it's football, and that's why you got to put your best foot forward every weekend, because you're not guaranteed anything. But again, I think it's a good performance to continue to build on as we head on the road.
This is probably the third home match that I've been to where the crowd has audibly expressed some displeasure with the officiating quite loudly. Your team had probably more than 10 or more fouls, more than Columbus for most of the second half. What were your thoughts on that, I guess? How do you kind of approach that with what seemed, 5 yellow cards for your players?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, I would prefer a soccer game without any fouls called. Is the way I'd like to see the game. But if you're going to call fouls, I just think it's really difficult when there's so many yellow cards shown and then there's yellow card fouls after that don't get the same kind of treatment. And I think consistency is always important. But again, I think the refs are under. They're under a microscope every game, and it's very difficult. But I think from this game, I think that was it. Just I don't know if there was a player on the field for our team that didn't have a yellow card, which is probably a first.
Yeah, so this was the first RSL game since LAFC where they kept a clean sheet. What are your kind of thoughts on that in such a frustrating game with so many fouls and not being able to put away those chances? How important is that going forward?
That's a great point. It's so funny because you oftentimes don't realize that because you knock on the door a lot and you just don't get rewarded with the goal. But again, I think defensively, we were very aggressive and from that, I think we won a lot of balls in really, really good areas. And credit to the guys on the back line and the pressure that we had on the ball up front. Everyone did a really good job of making sure we came away with a clean sheet. And against a team like this, that's obviously never easy. And I think it's a great foundation to build on as we continue forward.
You speak a lot about mentality. How would you rate this game for your team's mentality? It looked like they got Columbus with the heavily rotated side kind of got under the skin, and also the calls that were just mentioned kind of got under the skin of your players. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I would say from a mentality perspective, we want to be an aggressive team, and we want to be on the front foot. I think as we continue through the season, there's moments where we have to dial it back a little bit, but you always want to be dialing it back versus having guys that don't understand what it takes to win games, and you gotta scrap for every point in this league, and so I think from a mentality perspective, they approach the game the right way. I mean, again, all the games that I've seen, even the game where Columbus goes to Tigres, they had a ton of the ball, and tonight they had to work for every bit of possession that they had, and for me, that's a sign of a great mentality for our group.
What was the thought process on subbing out Crooks and Luna at the same time?
Well, again, I think at that moment, we weren't getting in behind. We weren't. The game needed a little bit of something, and Fidel, again, he's a guy that always looks for goal, whether it's training or in games. Thought that was important, and then bringing Ando onto the field where it asks another question of just bringing pace on the field. And so you have Andres and then you have Ando and trying to free up Chicho in the pocket. And I think he got the ball in some really good spots. Again, but I think in the final third, we just weren't clean with our decision making. That should have led to better opportunities on goal.
What's the thought process going forward after a game like this? Does it feel like you dropped 2 points at home?
No, it feels like we're 8 games into the season, and there's a lot of work to do. Again, results you don't control. You can't get to the playoffs by counting points now. There's a lot more soccer to be played, and so the important thing is performance. Did we execute the plan that we set forth? And I think we did. Again, the only thing lacking is the goals, but it's the hardest thing to do in football, and we'll just keep cracking on.
Thank you.
Pablo, there were a lot of yellow cards, and there was a potential yellow when Catranis was fouled right in front of the bench. You had a conversation with the fourth. Did you get an explanation on why that wasn't a yellow? Because it would have been a red. It would have been a second.
Correct, and I think that's what I was saying about consistency. And it's really difficult to manage a game when there's so many yellows thrown. But what I was told is he didn't see it as a yellow. And so that's the information I was given.
You've talked the past few weeks about too many guys dropping too deep, and it's really hurting the buildup. Did you think guys did a better job of being between the lines where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there?
I think so. I think so. Again, I think every team poses its challenges given their defensive shape. And again, what we talk about is the spaces that are available for us to exploit. And I thought, Diego and Crooksey picked up balls in really good areas. Andres always stretching, which was a threat all night. Chicho picking up the ball between the lines. And so I think for the most part, I think we did a really good job of that, of staying between the lines. And again, I think and that's why I use every game as a barometer. You're not going to get from 1 to 10 right away. But I think since the Colorado game, we've done a really good job of understanding the structure, the roles and responsibilities, and the guys that have been executing.
Given the fact you've got to go on the road the next 2 weeks, do you think the guys have shown the aggressiveness and the focus that's going to be required usually when you go on the road?
I think so. I think one of the things that we took from the Minnesota game was to continue to play the same way and not sit back and not let them have the ball because we want to preserve a result. We want to play the game regardless of the time and the score. We don't want to change what we do because then what ends up happening is you got half the group thinking a certain way and half the group thinking the other way, and in that disconnect, you're not a team anymore. And I thought tonight. We didn't change that. We played to get the goal. We didn't, last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we didn't drop another back. As a matter of fact, I think at times we were hyper aggressive, and I love that. And I think the game, fortune favors the brave in everything in life. And if we take a point now, to take 6 in the next 3 games or whatever it looks like, then it was all worth it. But the most important thing is that we've as a group, we're making progress from that perspective, and I think it'll pay dividends in the end.
Pablo, Zach McMath had a lot of balls up and over the top. Is that part of the strategy as well, or was that just variation of service?
So again, I think the important thing for me as a coach is, and this is the takeaway from the Minnesota game, is we want everyone to be playing to our game model, to our style of play every game. The player on the ball has the decision to play whatever he sees, right? As a coach, if you're micromanaging and joysticking, then it's us using these guys as chess pieces. The reason why they're here is because they're very good players, and they all have the autonomy to make decisions. So one of the things that we against a team that plays with a back five and they want to release their wingers really hard, the idea was, this guy is going to be open on as we rotate it from left to right, the wing back's going to come. So Andres is going to be naked. And so the idea is you play a ball there. If he's on, play him. And so then the next time, he's got a question of whether or not to release. And again, I don't think we punished him enough from that. We weren't clean enough in that execution to ask really good questions. If Andres would have, set up a goal with a pass or got in behind and scored himself, then now those wing backs have to really make a decision. And more times than not, the tactical adjustment is keep your wing back here. So now Brody has all the time to advance the ball. That wasn't, it was, and I think every long ball he played has a different circumstance, and that would be a question for Zach. Did he see the space in behind and that he thought it was because he played probably 3 really, really good ones. And then there was a couple that, that kind of went astray. But I think that's the important part with for me as a coach is to make sure these guys have the autonomy. As long as everyone knows what we're meant to be doing, they make decisions that they see, so that there's ownership in the team. If not, it just I wouldn't like playing for a coach that would do that anyway.
And then just quick follow-up, clean sheet at home. Congratulations on that. Backline's playing great, and the 2 pivots seem to be gelling together with them as well.
Yeah, it started back in preseason. Emeka, we thought maybe he'd be more of a right back this year, and because of numbers in the middle of the field, he played 4 or 5 preseason games in that position. Him and Ojeda have this almost like this chemistry that is beyond tactics. That it's a feel thing, and you see it in all the sports, whether it's quarterback with the receiver, or whether it's point guard to the big man. They just have this real connection and understanding of like knowing where they are before the play even evolves. And so those guys have been monsters. And I think the guys in the back, Jay Glad, Vera, and Brody have been solid as well. So again, I think these are all fantastic foundational pieces. And then when it all clicks, it's a thing of magic, because now you put the ball in the back of the net, and now you have teams running out at you, and we want to play the same way. So then we're going to get chances. But we'll work this week on breaking down the walls of that goal and making sure that we get one in the back of the net.
Thanks, Pablo.
Thanks, guys.
There's RSL head coach Pablo Mastroeni. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the Utah Jazz wrap up their season. The best of the postgame show next. Good morning. DJ and PK is proudly presented by Murdoch Hyundai, Utah's #1 Hyundai dealer for 18 years in a row. The Utah Jazz close out the season with a loss at Golden State. Let's get to the best of the postgame show.
It's your Jazz recap here on DJ and PK 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott with you. The Jazz season is over. They lost yesterday afternoon to the Golden State Warriors 123-116. They finished the season 31-51, and we'll have the 8th best odds in the upcoming lottery, but no playoff basketball in Salt Lake City this year. Let's get to the postgame sound, though. Let's start things off with Jazz head coach Will Hardy.
That you go to after the season ends?
I mean, the first thing we all need to do is step away for a few days, let everything settle, let the emotion wear off, get some rest, spend time with loved ones, and then come back to the table a little bit clearer mentally, a little bit fresher from an energy standpoint, before we start to dig in on kind of what's next for our team.
Just tonight's game, what did you think of Keontae, Bryce, and Taylor's game today?
I thought Keontae obviously had it going from 3, and that was good. I don't want Keontae playing well to only be reliant on if he makes threes or not. And lately, that's been a little bit of how it's felt. But I think tonight, going out on that note, the aggressiveness he showed at the point of attack was good. Obviously, caught a little flurry there in the third quarter, which was nice. I think Bryce, overall, had a decent game. He wasn't overly efficient from the floor. Missed some tough ones. His next step is continuing to make a little bit quicker decisions. Bryce is a good offensive player. He's got a good brain, good vision, but need to make a little bit better decisions. And then I thought Taylor was solid. Those are the kinds of performances that we're looking for Taylor to sort of stack on top of each other, like the 16 points and 8 rebounds, and didn't stand out in a bad way really ever. It was just kind of like a solid performance for him. Like we're trying to stack those on top of each other as he continues to grow. So I thought each of them had some good moments. I think they all want to play better for sure, but we're seeking the consistency piece. Like, can you do it 3 games in a row or 3 out of 4 games, not 1 out of 4?
For those 3 guys in particular, and everybody on the roster, but for definitely the young guys, how do you want that hunger that we were talking about pregame to translate for them into an off season?
Yeah, I think they all need to recover a little bit, and then the hunger starts with how you treat your body in the off season, because the part that they maybe haven't processed yet is that if we're where we want to be, however you feel right now, physically, mentally, emotionally, we would like to be preparing to go play our best basketball of the season right now, where we're taking a few days off, we're going to do our playoff prep, and then it's go time. And so you have to prepare your body in a way that you can endure not only an 82-game season, but endure 82 games and then be ready to play in the playoffs. And so I think right now they're probably all a little bit tired and feeling emotionally and mentally drained. And fortifying that part starts in the summer. And that's what they have to focus on most.
Sir reported Avery Bradley's joining you guys as a player development staffer in some regard. How has he been able to help so far, and how do you hope that he can help moving forward?
Yeah, Avery hasn't been here very long, but he is a very steady presence. I think ultimately I see him sort of being in a lot of different spaces. He has a lot of experience as a player, which will provide good perspective for not only our front office but our coaching staff in different ways. I also think that the things that sort of defined Avery as a player and his career are things that he can impart on some of our young players from a mentorship standpoint. I think that he garners a lot of respect from the young players, and he has a really good way about him. And so I think some of that mentorship is going to start to develop as he builds stronger relationships with them. Thanks.
There is Jazz head coach Will Hardy. On to the players. Let's hear from Bryce Sensabaugh.
I think, I don't know the saying, but the days were slow, but the weeks and months went super fast. So obviously it's a huge blessing, and I give all my glory to God to make it through this season, especially healthy, and to have the experiences that I did. It was a huge blessing.
What are you most proud of?
I think I'm proud of the team for sticking together through such a rough year. Obviously, I wasn't here the whole time, but the locker room has always been high energy and positive. We've always had each other's back, and we kept fighting throughout some hard times. So I'm proud of the whole group.
How are you able to handle the highs and lows of the league?
I think part of it is just it moves very fast. So there's back-to-back games, 1 day breaks in between, 36-hour turnaround. So it moves super fast. So kind of just wipe everything at midnight. That's what I try to do, and focus on the next one.
Then lastly, how have you been able to grow in your confidence as well as with all the changes on the team?
I think, just seeing the ball going and my guys instill a lot of confidence in me. And I think for me, I'm I'm really a self-motivated person. So just putting the extra work by myself and, kind of putting that battery in my back just to, play with confidence. And obviously the work gives me confidence, and, I get a lot of my confidence from God. So, just the combination of those things has helped me.
Thanks, Bryce.
That's Bryce Sensabaugh. Let's now hear from Keontae George.
the consistency that I had, with my work, no matter what I was doing, I think I was most proud of that. And, now I'm able to build off that and continue to, find, what works best for me as far as my routine. But I think just the consistency with everything that I was doing, I was real proud of.
How do you think you handled the highs and lows of the season?
Just staying in the gym. I have the pleasure of, my first year or so when my lows are very low and my highs are very high. I don't got to really see it all over the place. But I think, I still stuck to the plan, watching film, stuck with what Will was telling me, being coachable, staying after practice, getting in there before, just trying to do everything just to prepare, my mind and body, to go out and perform. But I think KD has really preached it to me best. He told me at the beginning of the season, don't get too high, don't get too low. Stay right on that same path, because at the end of the day, people could, like you for 2 days, and then, we play so many games. We play 3 games, you play bad. Now it's, now people don't like you a little bit. So I think just sticking to the grind is what got me through it.
Bryce was talking about how the locker room, despite, from a result standpoint, the season has not been great, right? But the locker room has still seemed like jovial and fun. Why is that?
Because the NBA is very fun. We travel every other day. We get to play against guys that are considered the best guys to play the game of basketball. We get to do a lot of things that not normal people really get to see and do. So I said it before, we playing a little kids game as grown men. So we got to go out and keep a smile on our face and enjoy it at the end of the day. Like I said, our season is over. Now, what we going to do, for the next 3-4 months, or if, just hypothetically, maybe you're not coming back here, or, maybe you're out the league, in the league. So it's just like you got to come out and appreciate each and every day. You never know what's going to happen, because at the end of the day, we understand that it's a business. So I'm trying to, enjoy everybody's, presence, and just trying to enjoy this thing of life. To be honest, we talk about show love, so I think when Bryce talks about everybody's laughing and high B, it's because our motto is show love, and we got to continue to keep a smile on our face, and nobody shows love mad.
Speaking of the next 3 or 4 months, talking to Will, it was like, how do you want hunger to fuel these young guys throughout the off season? And he was like, well, they're tired, they're mentally drained right now. It was a rough season, but ideally right now is when we would be playing our best basketball. So you have to have a whole different level of preparation. So how do you motivate yourself through the summer?
I think the motivation is, of course, watching the playoffs. I think the motivation for me, honestly, is going to be watching these playing games. That's kind of where we was throughout the whole year, and conversations with Will and everybody. I mean, that was the goal. It was hunting the postseason, and of course things happen. But I think just to motivate myself, I mean, I understand that I got a lot of room to grow. And since high school, my high school had this saying, nobody cares, work harder. So kind of living by that motto, was able to get in the gym and, really work hard. And then, also with myself, not just getting into the comparison game. Once you get into that, I think you kind of feel like you're too far behind or too far ahead, and then you start to slow down. So I think it's when you get too caught up in that, it'll be hard. But for me, I'm gonna continue to work on myself, pick up new habits, watch basketball. Because like you said, this will be a time where we're playing elite level basketball. Everybody's in elite level shape, and everybody's ready to go. Every other night. So I'm gonna sit back and relax, of course. But I think getting into journaling and just writing down, maybe this is some things I can do, or writing down what I see, in these playoff games. So, next year and the following years, and I'm able to, step in and, kind of know what that basketball looks like. Not necessarily know what it feels like, but at least I'll able to, imagine what it looks like. And once that opportunity comes, I've already seen it now. I just got to do it.
You talk about finding consistency in your work ethic, and that you found that. How do you find kind of more consistency in your game performances, like bringing it every night out of 82?
It starts with being in shape. That's the first thing. There's a lot of guys in this league that I can make an example out of just by being in shape. So once you're in shape, then I kind of think everything else follows, throughout the day-to-day that we do in the league and practice, just maintenance things, get what you need throughout the season. I've been through a full year, so I kind of know what each day is going to look like. So now I'm just working on being in shape, having legs under me, eating right, having enough fluids to, going into the game. So I think just take care of those little things, because at the end of the day, we've been playing basketball our whole life. So I think the skill set and all those things can just get sharpened. When you're in game mode, you're playing off of adrenaline and, you're just playing off feel. And so I think just being in shape, for myself, will really be able to take, the consistency game to game to a whole new level.
What have you gained from having Avery Bradley around?
I've learned a lot in the short times man he's been here. Defensively, good.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
That is Keontae George. As the Jazz season came to a close yesterday, they lost to the Warriors 123-116.
There's the best of the postgame show. When we come back, we head to spring practice for the University of Utah. You're going to hear from Kyle Whittingham and Cam Rising, plus the transfer wide receiver from Arizona and USC, Dorian Singer. Stick around. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. We're brought to you in part by America First Credit Union. Get the official debit cards of the Utah Jazz, University of Utah Sports, Real Salt Lake, and more exclusively at America First Credit Union. The Utes had their spring game, the Forever 22 game. You're going to hear from head coach Kyle Whittingham and also from some of the players. We're going to start with Isaac Wilson and with Cameron Calhoun. Isaac Wilson, of course, giving up the last semester of high school to get to spring football, and a strong performance. I think a lot of people watch that think, well, he's number 2 on the depth chart. Unless they go to the transfer portal and get somebody, so we'll have to see. And also Cameron Calhoun, transferring from Michigan, probably locking up a start as a starter in the secondary. Here's Isaac Wilson and Cameron Calhoun.
Isaac, how did it feel to kind of get your first reps in a game-like setting?
It was a good opportunity. I mean, we've been prepping all spring for this opportunity, this game, to go out and show our abilities, and the guys all around me balled out. Defense was holding their own, so I mean, it was great. It was a great chance for me.
Yeah, when you get that PBU and had some other plays, I mean, how did it feel just to kind of be here with Utah and doing it with fans in the stands?
It feels good. Just be able to come out here, just get the opportunity to be able to play, make a difference on the defensive side and just help the team.
Isaac, how did you make that pass completion here, touchdown in Utah for the first time in, I guess, your career, really?
It was an amazing feeling. I saw it right down the middle. I threw it. Lando dove. He caught it. He did an outstanding job pulling the safety. But just having that first one, I mean, many more to come.
How do you feel this spring has gone for you? I mean, do you feel like you've acclimated well and been able to do it?
I mean, yeah, of course, ups and downs all throughout the process, but my goal is just to progress, get ready to play. Cam's got the job right now, but everyone's got to be ready.
It actually means a lot just because they still took a chance out on me to be able to just come here and play. But it's not just me. I was just making plays out here. It was the D-line, the linebackers, the safeties, they all in their position. And I just need to be in mine so I could make an impact.
Isaac, you won a state championship on this field, man. This is right back in the UK.
I mean, that wasn't too long ago, 5-6 months ago? But, I mean, to be back here is a blessing. I really am blessed to be back out here with a different team, different attitude, and ready to compete and win. We've got some goofy guys on our team, but they know when to take it serious. Everyone's super hardworking, and I think we're getting great team chemistry.
What's your favorite about the team right now? What's giving you confidence in the most?
I have confidence in everybody's confidence. Like, everybody just know that they know their job. They know what they got to come out here and do. I'm just putting my trust in the offense, and I know that I'm having my trust in the defense to come out here and do what they need to do so we can go win a national title.
What stands out?
I would say it's the aggression. It's like just forcing the offense to do whatever we want them to do. We had a lot of players out, and we couldn't show y'all a lot right hand, but just know it's a lot of stuff coming. It's a lot of stuff coming for the Big 12.
What does the offseason look like for you in terms of development?
Just getting in the playbook. I think that's the biggest part for me, getting in the playbook, learning the scheme, learning dropbacks. I just need to get with Coach Ludd, just learn the schemes, learn the offense. That's basically it for me. It really is important because I know our defense can hold their own. As you were saying before, they got a lot more tricks up their sleeve than you know. It's been pretty chippy in practice. I hate seeing it, but it's good for us. Just making plays is a great thing. I mean, his composure, if you ever see him talking, he's got great composure, great confidence in his team. And just having that, I think, is going to be a great ability for me.
There's Isaac Wilson and Cameron Calhoun. Now, here's wide receiver Dorian Singer, who transferred in first from Arizona and most recently USC. He's expected to provide a big lift to the wide receiver group. Here's Dorian Singer.
Dorian, it seemed like you had a great connection with Cam out there. What's it been like for you to be able to kind of build that connection with him so quickly?
It's been everything because, like I said in previous interviews, us two, we're just combining together. And it takes two, and just don't take one. So both our eggs in one basket. It makes everything easier when we're both on the same page and want the same for each other.
Yeah, you were Money Parks this season. What were we expecting this season between you two?
Some touchdowns, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards.
What are some of the things you learned from him? Obviously, he's established. Everyone knows his name. But for you, I mean, what do you take from him as a receiver?
His speed, just how he get in and out of breaks and how he attacks DBs. I just look at how he gets leverage and gain leverage and just steal it from him.
And what are some of the things that you bring to the table?
My ball skills, route running, just whatever we need.
It looked like you feel pretty comfortable in the offense so far. How's this offense kind of fit with what you bring to the table?
So we kind of ran a similar offense when I was at Arizona at 22. So that's like, it just different terminology, but it just helped me just get out there and play fast.
The Singer Rising connection looks pretty dang good. Tell me about your guys' abilities together.
Well, we can do a lot of stuff. We got a pretty good connection. A lot of it's because we meet outside of football. We always hang out. We're just building our relationship up so we can have good chemistry on the field.
What's going to be the focus for you as far as next phase of the offseason?
The longevity of the game. How can I keep my body right to stay healthy for all 12 games and then playoffs and stuff like that. And just the longevity of the game because the game of football has to stop at some point in time. So I just want to be ready for that and have my body right.
There's Utah wide receiver Dorian Singer transferring in from USC. Here's the guy who's going to throw him the ball, the quarterback, Cam Rising.
How does it feel to be back out there with fans in the stands?
Oh, great. Just a great energy out there. Good showing, so it was a fun day.
You look strong out there, man. How you feeling, mentally and emotionally?
Yeah, feeling strong, like you said. Yeah, just feeling good. Been accruing a lot of reps, and just it's good to be back out there with the guys, making some plays and watching them go. Really, yeah.
It seems like you had a good connection with Dorian. What's gone into that since he's come over here for you?
Just a lot of reps. We've been throwing the ball as much as we can, trying to get out there, just get that chemistry, and it was showed today. So it was a positive day for us.
Isaac credits your confidence and kind of just like your demeanor. Where have you learned that? Is that just because you've been here for a stint? Just take me through kind of how you carry yourself.
I always am a believer in fake it till you make it, even if you don't have that much confidence. Go out there and act like you do, and just kind of that's always been my thought process. But now being in the system for so long, I definitely have a lot of confidence in it, so it makes it a lot easier to be confident out there. And I think he's on his way to get there too, so it's been good.
Where do you feel like the offense is at the end of the spring? It seemed like you guys were doing well moving the ball and making crisp passes and crisp plays.
Yeah, we're looking good. We're sharp right now. Not where we need to be for season, but we're getting there. So just got to keep working throughout the summer, and I think we'll be there.
What do you think Isaac has to do to kind of keep going?
Just keep accruing reps. The more reps that he can get, the better it's going to be. It's a hard system to learn right away, but he's done a great job making sure he's going through every check and every list of plays that we got. So it's been good for him, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
What's the big focus for you as you move into the offseason?
Just keep throwing the ball to the guys, getting as much chemistry and kind of just talking to everyone, making sure we're on the same page with certain plays, and that's really where we're focused.
Do you feel like you have a doctorate in analytics offense?
ready to adapt and find something new to make the team going.
How about that standing ovation? How did that make you feel?
It was a little surreal, just fun. Just really grateful for the fans and showing support. It was a hard year last year. Just to have that was amazing.
There's Utah quarterback Cam Rising. Now here's the boss, head coach Kyle Whittingham.
Coach, some great football today and some great weather. How's it feel to be on the field today?
It was great, and we finally had some really good weather. We've been battling that a little bit this spring, but a great day for the fans to come out and look at the new edition of the Utes, the 24 edition. It was great to have Cam out there. Cam did not miss 1 minute of spring ball in any way, shape, or form. He was back to his old self. Great to see Brant Keithy back out there. A lot of new guys. You saw new additions to the team that made plays. So overall, spring ball was a big step forward for us. And now it's time to get back in the weight room when they come back off break in May and take another step forward there.
Kyle, what do you make of your QB situation right now, especially without Isaac?
Yeah, Isaac's really good today. He's a talented kid. Handled the stage, I guess you could say, very well. And he and Brandon will continue to battle into fall camp. But Isaac certainly took a big step forward today.
Cam had a very crisp 3 series. Was making a lot of deep throws, a lot of broken throws. How you assess his performance overall?
Exactly what we hoped it would be. He was accurate. Moved well in the pocket. He had a good pocket presence to him, which he always does. Went through his progressions quick, got the ball out on time. And really couldn't have asked anything more than what he did.
What do you have most confidence in?
Most confidence? Probably the line of scrimmage on both sides. We feel like we're really good depth. Had a lot of depth on both the offensive and defensive lines. And if you're going to have a strength of the team, that's a pretty good place to have it. And then the quarterback, obviously. Having Cam back gives the offense really their confidence back. Not their confidence back, but it gives them just the belief that we can get things done. He's such a leader for us. Defensive side, I'd say Cam did a good job. Corner spot, he made a lot of plays. Moroni and I showed up to make a lot of tackles at the pick 6. Aliki Vimahi did a nice job at D-tackle. Who else is out there? We'll have to watch the film and grade the film and get all the particulars down. But those guys really strong. Not really. We've got different destinations and teams that we don't know much about. They don't know much about us. So it works both ways. And putting all our attention on Southern Utah for the opening. That's where we're at.
Calhoun had a really good game today, making some good plays. What have you liked from him in the spring and in the game today?
First of all, his attitude, his work ethic, exceptional, great. Just the way he carries himself, his body language is outstanding every single day. He enjoys being out there. He loves football, and it shows. You can tell that he loves the game. And he did play very well.
There's Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham. We're going to take a break. When we come back, what is trending? All the headlines are next.